Now, an ex-royal staff member has opened up about his time working at Buckingham Palace, claims that out of all of the royals that he catered for, Prince Andrew was difficult and more demanding than others. I mean, he's certainly not getting a good rap.
There's a hidden world that keeps the royal machine running. It's not made of crowns and carriages, but of briefing papers, silent nods, and unspoken rules. For every public smile, there's a private manual on how to make it happen. Most of these documents are just meticulous. Lists of preferences, schedules, protocols. They're the unseen architecture of royal life. But what happens when that private rulebook doesn't just guide, but dehumanises? That prince is Andrew. And this isn't just about a difficult boss. It's the story of a shadow system that nurtured a toxic sense of entitlement. A system whose violent complicity may hold the key to understanding his spectacular, scandalous downfall. First, we need to frame the stark reality of Andrew's present. He is, in every functional sense, a ghost within the institution he was born into. Stripped of his cherished military titles, his royal patronages, and any semblance of a public role following the Epstein scandal, and his multi-million-pound settlement with Virginia Giuffre, his existence is now largely confined to the sprawling, contested grounds of Royal Lodge. The world sees a pariah. But to truly comprehend how he reached this point, you have to look beyond the court cases and the headlines. You have to look at the environment he cultivated when he was still untouchable, shielded by his title and his mother's favour. The private culture within his household, a set of standards whispered about for years, reveals a pattern of behaviour that the public scandal only magnified. Because within the gilded walls of any royal residence, everything runs on documents and deference. Menus are approved weeks in advance by teams of aides. A valet's entire career can be built on knowing how to correctly steam a pair of trousers or pack a suitcase to an exacting standard. It's an accepted, almost mundane part of the job. You learn the quirks. Some want their Diet Coke at room temperature. Others demand specific classical music played at low volume. But with Andrew, the whispers that have surfaced from former aides, housekeepers, and most damningly, protection officers suggest these quirks morphed into something far more corrosive. They paint a picture of a domain where professional boundaries didn't just bend. They were designed to erase the humanity of the people enforcing them. So, what specific allegations could possibly justify the term inhumane? We're piecing together accounts from over the years, from those who've spoken anonymously to the press or recounted stories within palace circles. Some of the most persistent claims revolve around a doctrine of invisibility. Staff were not just to be discreet, they were to be spectral. There are reports of an explicit rule forbidding them from initiating speech or even making direct eye contact with the Duke unless he spoke to them first. Imagine the psychological weight of that, working in close, intimate quarters with a person you're instructed to treat as if you are literally not there, your presence only acknowledged when it becomes a tool. Other anecdotes involve extraordinarily specific, almost nonsensical demands. The exact temperature of a toothpaste tube presented on a tray. The precise geometric arrangement of newspapers, with corners aligned to the millimetre. The silent acceptance of being tasked with last-minute, extravagant personal errands, collecting obscure items or delivering personal messages that fell far outside any official job description. It wasn't simply about high standards. It was a climate of perpetual anxiety, of walking on eggshells, where a minor deviation could mean a severe, demeaning reprimand. Now, let's focus on the source of this explosive claim: a former royal protection officer. This context is critical. These are not junior footmen. They are highly trained, often ex-military or police professionals. Their world is one of threat assessment, physical courage, and dignified authoritative service. They guard princes and presidents. For a person with this background and mentality to reach for a word with such profound moral and emotional weight, inhumane, it signals a rupture far beyond dealing with a merely demanding employer. It suggests a systematic erosion of the basic respect owed to any fellow professional. It points to an environment where their expertise and personhood were nullified. And within the royal hierarchy, there was absolutely no safe avenue for redress. You couldn't file a formal complaint against the Queen's favourite son. The unspoken options were to endure the treatment, let it chip away at your dignity, or request a discreet transfer, a move that itself could be a career black mark, branding you as someone who couldn't handle a senior post. The power imbalance wasn't just professional, it was feudal. Here lies the deeper, more insidious scandal. The palace system itself almost certainly knew. It's the primary tool for managing difficult situations without causing a fuss. When a senior royal becomes notoriously challenging to work for, whether through temper, excessive demands, or inappropriate behaviour, the institutional solution is almost never to confront the principal. That would be unthinkable. Instead, the problem is quietly moved. The beleaguered staff member is transferred to another household with a vague, positive reference. The difficult royal gets a fresh, unsuspecting team. The issue isn't solved, it's just relocated. For decades, this silent, bureaucratic machinery acted as Andrew's perfect insulator. It protected him from any consequence of his private conduct, allowing a profound and dangerous sense of entitlement to grow unchecked. The institution, in its relentless pursuit of stability and silence, became an active enabler. It sent a clear, unspoken message. Your behaviour, no matter how it affects those beneath you, will not be challenged. To understand how abnormal this alleged environment was, it's useful to briefly contrast it with whispers from other working royal households. Every senior figure has their specificities. King Charles is famously particular, with well-documented routines like having his shoelaces pressed and his toothpaste squeezed onto the brush. Yet, former staff often describe his manner as professionally exacting. He expects perfection, but is also known to write thoughtful thank you notes and remember personal details about their lives. The atmosphere around the Prince and Princess of Wales, meanwhile, is frequently described by insiders as more modern and collegiate. Demanding, given the immense workload, but with a conscious effort to foster a team spirit, to acknowledge effort, and to maintain a human connection. The allegations surrounding Andrew's tenure stand in stark, chilling contrast. They aren't about the quirks of the job, they're about a foundational disregard for the people doing it. They describe a climate not of rigorous service, but of psychological subservience. This brings us to the critical connecting thread. Why does this old private rulebook, this alleged inhumane file, matter so profoundly today in the aftermath of his public destruction? Because it is a character blueprint written in the everyday interactions he controlled. Those hidden rules and the culture they fostered were the early, private warning signs of a worldview that would later explode onto the global stage. A worldview where other people existed primarily as instruments for his comfort and convenience, where their autonomy, comfort, and dignity were irrelevant details. That cultivated sense of private impunity, carefully shielded and normalised by the palace's own machinery, is the exact same soil that allowed his catastrophic public associations to take root and flourish. He was conditioned to believe the normal rules did not apply to him, first in his private corridors and then on the world stage. The palace may have finally, ruthlessly, cut him loose to save the monarchy from contagion, but for decades, its own silent, efficient systems helped fertilise the very toxicity it now so publicly disowns. So we are left with a haunting, unresolved question. The inhumane file represents a private, sustained truth. The global scandal involving Jeffrey Epstein and Virginia Giuffre was the catastrophic public eruption. Was the first a direct precursor to the second? Did the unchecked entitlement nurtured behind palace walls inevitably predispose him to the reckless judgment and staggering lack of awareness he displayed in his public life? And ultimately, could the firm have prevented his very public, legally damning fall if it had dared, years earlier, to confront the private monster it was helping to feed? The uncomfortable answer might tell us far more about the monarchy's ancient instincts for self-preservation and its moral blind spots than any crown jewel or glittering ceremony ever could. What do you think? Did the palace's deep-rooted culture of silence and relocation make Andrew's ultimate scandal an inevitability? Could his path have been different if someone long ago had dared to say no? Let us know your theories in the comments below. And for more unfiltered revelations from inside the firm, for the stories they never wanted told, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on for Royal Family Daily. We're just getting started.